So if you look at the robo-advisory industry, it started in the US, which is still the biggest market. So the major robo-advisors in the US have gathered more than 100 billion in asset under management, versus Europe has been much slower. In terms of starting, but also in terms of adoption. For instance, in Germany, we have around 3 billion, but it's growing. So it's a rapidly growing industry. But the strongest actually also potential we see in Asia, because for instance, if you look at the money market funds, let's say in mainland China, they are now several $100 billion in terms of asset under management. And here the technology environment is much more fertile for this kind of parts. That's why Europe is growing, not as fast as the US, but Asia really has the biggest potential. We were actually surprised that a market like Taiwan hasn't adopted robo-advisory much stronger, because Taiwan as a country is very high-tech. You know, if you look at TSMC, which is one of the top 10 technology companies in the world, you have a lot of these kind of companies here, and a lot of the employees are very high-tech oriented. That's why we believe Taiwan is a very good ground to start this kind of project, and also a lot of interest from clients. And that's why we are very grateful that one of the strongest IFA players, online IFAs like Easy Funds, is cooperating with us, because it gives us the brand access. So with having the brand with Easy Funds in Taiwan, which is very important. Also the capabilities in terms of onboarding and also the execution part, in combination with our technology, a little bit what we bring to the table, the kind of asset allocation experience. That's why I think it's a very good partnership in combination of both. And hence, we believe Taiwan is a very good start, given also that it was relatively, I wouldn't say easy, but it was relatively simple to provide a regulatory framework around it, which is not so easy in other Asian markets, which are much more protective. So, if you look at WISE, it has 3 components. The first one is the front end, which is basically the so-called asset allocation builder, which helps an investor to find a suitable portfolio. The second one is the allocation part, where we are providing ex-ante expectations from a return point of view, also volatility expectations, portfolios based on our CIO view, but in a digital format. And the third part is the back end. Now for the WISE project in Asia, in particular for Easy Funds, we have 1 and 2, the front end and the allocation. And for the front end, we have developed an algorithmic suitability analysis. What does it mean? It looks, based on the user input, which portfolio, which volatility is really suitable for the investor in an objective manner. So this is an algorithm which has been developed with a lot of background from a European regulation point of view, because in Europe, we have with MiFID II a new regulatory framework, which requires a lot of detailed analysis of an investor to basically provide a suitable investment. And that's sort of the knowledge base which has gone into the asset allocation builder. And with Easy Funds together, we adapted it into the Taiwanese environment. So of course, not all things we are doing in Europe are also suitable for Taiwan. And that's something we have developed together, but using the underlying technique in terms of our asset allocation builder. And given that it's relatively fast, so that's something I think it is innovative, because with a few relatively reasonable questions, we create a very complex kind of analysis to help investors find a suitable portfolio. I think the key part is that you have, first of all, an objective basis for a portfolio. So if you say I'm a risk-seeking investor, I get a target volatility. With this target volatility, based on our expertise, you get kind of an asset allocation on an asset class level, which is usually a bit more than fixed income and equity, but really goes into the detail. Let's say you have fixed income on a inflation protected, corporate bonds, high yield bonds all around the world, which usually gives you a much broader universe of assets than typically me or you as an individual investor would look at. Because usually you buy, let's say, a Taiwanese stock fund or a Japanese bond fund, but not the whole kind of global range. But if you think about long-term investment, it's very important to diversify the assets so that you're really looking at the whole world where essentially returns are situated. In particular, also given the volatility in currencies and the volatility of the markets itself, that you have a broader view. And that's something what WISE brings to the table, because we look at all the asset classes in one product. So very simple, the CIO view provides ex-ante returns per asset class. So basically what the future will bring on an asset class level. Well, we have the ex-ante return, we have the volatility, and both of those things together provides a weighting. This is sort of what we come up from a proposal point of view. We all put this together, provide a digital file to Easy Funds, they review it, they select the fund, and then we upload it back into the WISE engine, then to provide it into the internet. This is how the project works.